May 29, 2026, A Meditative Life. Indifference, more terrifying than hatred. Beloved saints, are you abiding into the peace of the Lord today? The daily lives we live are truly busy. Every day from the early dawn, we drag our heavy bodies out of the house and fiercely live through the day. As we walk busily, constantly weighing where and how to pour our limited time and energy, our vision often suddenly narrows and our hearts grow cold. But where is the interest of our lives, which we live so diligently, directed right now? If someone asks what the opposite of love is, many might quickly answer hatred. However, the true opposite of love is probably not hatred, but coldly frozen indifference. Earlier, the Apostle Paul warned that when the terrible times come into the last days, people's attention will be focused solely on themselves, money and pleasure. It means the arrival of a desolate world where people completely close their eyes to those outside their own fences. Look at the Roman officer called the centurion, who appears into the Bible today. He came to Jesus with the issue of his servant's paralysis, a servant who was treated poorly into the society of that time. That servant was a being who could not bring any benefit to the centurion. However, he carefully regarded his servant's pain as if it were the suffering of his own child and asked Jesus for help. The warm and sincere human interest of this high-ranking officer surprised even Jesus, drawing out an immediate response of, "I will go and heal him," and a miracle of healing. Sometimes we say, it is easier to love the invisible God than to love the person next to me. This is because while God is perfect, people often do not seem lovable and seem to lack even the qualification to be loved. But the Bible asks firmly, if you do not love your brother whom you have seen, how can you love God whom you have not seen? Let us think about the well-known parable of the Good Samaritan. There were three kinds of people who dealt with the man who fell among robbers. To the robbers, he was an object of plunder to be stripped of everything he had, and to the priest and the Levite, he was merely a bothersome existence blocking their path. So, they pretended not to notice and passed by on the other side. However, to a certain Samaritan, he was my neighbor who needed to be approached with a heart of pity, his wounds bound up and cared for even by paying the innkeeper's fee. Who exactly is my neighbor? They are the very people around us who actively need our help and warm gaze. Jesus said, "Love your neighbor as yourself." Today, I earnestly hope that it will be a day of true love, tearing down the wall of indifference that only looked after our own comfort, and first approaching and extending a warm hand of interest to the wounded and exhausted neighbors by our side. Meditation and application. The first meditation is checking the direction of the interest where my gaze rests. Where is my biggest interest focused today? Let us reflect on whether we are trapped only into our own comfort, wealth, or pleasure. Just as Paul warned, let us meditate on whether there is a servant or Ammon who fell among robbers into the places I stay today, to whom I need to break my selfish indifference and offer a warm word of greeting or a small act of consideration. The second meditation is practicing the Good Samaritan's interest. The Samaritan willingly gave his oil and wine, his time and resources, even at a loss to himself. It was not because the injured man was qualified to be loved, but because he was a neighbor in need of help. Today, when we see someone's faults or weaknesses, instead of judging them by the yardstick of our own standards or avoiding them out of annoyance, let us practice concrete love by approaching and helping them first with the compassionate heart of the Lord.